Hello, so my name is Oluwasheye Abib, and I would like to talk about virtualization and how I will leverage it in a business settings. First, before I talk about the core components of virtualization, I would like to explain virtualization in a very simple to understand way. Now, virtualization is basically like a computer on another computer. Firstly, I would like everyone to understand that every devices or every software or de- any connection you see online all requires a physical component. So you should always be rest assured that there's a physical component somewhere. So that's basically telling us that there's a physical computer right there somewhere. Now, hosting is a software version of another computer. So the computer in this case that is a physical component is called hypervisor. You understand? So hypervisor is basically the name of the computer that is hosting or serving as the physical component which the virtual machines are hosted on. So basically it is a computer on another computer. And just like a physical computer that has a CPU, a memory, a RAM, also virtual machines gives the ability to be able to dedicate those components to the virtual machine depending on the kind of resources you need. So I believe that explains virtualization in the first in a way. And also the components a virtual machine has now is it gives you the leverage to be able to decide the component depending on how much resources you need or how much components you need to be able to accomplish your task. For example, if you're a small business of maybe two or three, you might not need so much RAM, so you can decide to minimize the kind of resources you have. But it's very important to know that the kind of capability you have to be able to use a virtual machine depends majorly on the size and capability of the physical component itself. It's very important to have that in mind. And fortunately, these days we have so many cloud networks or cloud servers that allow us to be able to create virtual machines easily. And this leads us to the advantages and how I will leverage it in a business setting. Gone are the days that if you have if you want to start a business, you have to buy so many systems and so many components just to be able to create a business environment or create systems to handle your business environment. But nowadays, life has become easy thanks to virtual machines. Now, this gives us the leverage to be able to create an online version of a computer system that we can get huge resources that if you are trying to buy it or try to purchase it normally, you might not be able to afford it. So that is one of the beautiful thing about virtual machines. It gives the business or a business a leverage to be able to get huge resources that might have been crazily expensive if you are trying to afford it yourself, or you might not even be able to afford it because of the space. So that is why all these big companies like Google, Amazon, and the rest offer something they call cloud service. In that cloud service, it gives you leverage to be able to create virtual machines which you can use to host your virtual server or your virtual software. If it's Windows, Mac, or whatever you want to Linux, come what may, you can as well create it with your specific RAM resources you need, your memory size you need, your kind of memory you want to use, basically anything. But it's very important to know in as much as you're creating a virtual machine, you also have to you have to consider creating the network. You have to install the virtual network as well so it can connect to online services and you can access domains and all that. So, and secondly, one beautiful thing about virtual machine also gives the leverage of you being able to easily create a new virtual machine in less time if there's an issue. For example, if it was to be a physical system, once the issue is if it develops a physical problem or an hardware issue, you will most likely have to have a downtime period that you can't even continue your work. But with virtual machines, it's something you can easily recreate another virtual machines online. And luckily, if you have backups of your files and everything, you can just easily move your virtual machines to the another virtual machine that is created afresh. And also, you can always upgrade your resources without having to buy a new component. Just you probably reach out to the virtual the host that is giving the access to creating your virtual machines, and you request that you need more resources because your business is expanding. So the advantages are endless, and it is not so complex to be able to do. It is something that should be keyed into and used. So, and I believe that explains well. And thank you very much. And I hope you were able to understand my explanation. Thank you, and bye bye.